They still say you cannot do it.
Hey guys, did you see our new Stadium Rant intro? It is the Big Fuss Show.
Can I please have your attention?
There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
Welcome in, guys. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here to do our Big Fuss Show. Got John Hammonds on here with me. What's up, Hammonds?
What's up, man?
We're here to do the Big Fuss. You ready to break into some fuss?
I know you're in the mood tonight. I can already see.
It's been a hell of a month. That's all I'm gonna say.
You've been on a heater for the last couple of weeks. So,
yep. All right. So first of all, I hope you guys enjoyed our new Stadium Rant intro. Good little video. Go to stadiumrant.com. It is also in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Also, if you're on Facebook with us, we appreciate you. We are growing, getting closer and closer to that 5,000 mark, and we appreciate you. You can help support us by sending stars, or another cool way to do it is to subscribe to our page on Facebook. It's only 99 cents a month. Does give you your own chat, and it also gives you your own subscribers page. And like I said, guys, it's only 99 cents a month. We all spend 20 times that a day on lots of other different things, but it's a small token amount to help support us to continue to make more content. All right, guys, got that out of the way. If you are on with us and you enjoyed the Stadium Rant intro and saw that, put it in the comments and let us know. Because I think it's a pretty cool little new intro there for Stadium Rant for us. It includes us. It includes Fresh at the end. And it's a pretty cool little intro. Considered for the Vatican, Pope Mark. Yeah, right. yeah, right. I ain't falling for that one. All right, John, we're going to get things started off right off the top with some stuff. And I got something to say about the very first topic. Thank God. Seriously. Here we go. The transfer portal closes at midnight. Thank God. I have been so over this transfer portal stuff for the last 2+ weeks. It seems like it has just drug on, and I almost think that there is some intention behind it to hold names out. Every 5 days you see a big name. I think there's almost some intent behind it to keep this portal thing going as long as they can. What do you think? You're muted.
I think there should be some freedom of choice with some of these guys, but especially like with players, coaches, all that stuff. If we're not careful, Brad, we're going to go to the dark ages of college sports. And we mentioned that, a little bit today. Me and you was talking about that. It's truly the wild, wild west right now, and everyone's a free agent every single year. You know, Rob Doster brought up a good point from the field of 68.
So there was 24. There was 2,400 people in the portal, and that was a few days ago, a couple of days ago.
The thing that Rob Doster brought out to me that was really cool and really brought in the whole portal thing was you're basically having free agency every 12 months. And that don't happen except in college, football and basketball.
Football does it twice a year. They're in a second. They're in a spring.
Go ahead.
Which is absolutely does. Football does twice a year.
I think you're going at the same time I'm going. Here's the thing that I want to bring out. I'm not holding all this against these players, coaches, whatever. You want to go to the portal, you want to find a team, that's fine. But you look at the decision with Aberdeen, for instance, with the Florida guard going to Kentucky, right? I want some rules changed.
Just won a national title
to incentivize players staying put. You said, you win a national title. You're a Florida kid. You're basically
he's from Florida. Yeah,
you're going to have, and your legacy is going to be, well, you know what? I'm going to be a Gator for the rest of my life. Well, something don't go your way, and you want money. What do? You jump in the portal. Kentucky calls, and he's on the next plane up to Lexington. Like, that's where we are in college athletics. If a guy's not getting paid a certain amount of money, he's on the next boat or next flight out to see a new coach, and that's what happened with Aberdeen. And I'm not upset about Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen's a good player. I think he'd be really good for Kentucky. But my issue is the loyalty is not in college sports anymore. There's no loyalty involved. It's every man for himself.
I mean, at this point, John, the only way you're going to get any loyalty is to have some kind of retainer that is a bonus for staying. Right now, I mean, the way this landscape is, that's basically it. That's all you're going to – that's the only – it's going to have to be an incentive for these dudes because there's nothing else out there that's going to stop it from happening.
Well, that's not the worst part. The worst part of the portal is we got guys that are in the portal with no eligibility.
Yeah, a bunch of them. There was – I don't know. I don't even know if these were fake.
Let me repeat that.
Wait a second. Were these fake the other day? Because it was maybe yesterday I seen the two guys from Clemson was putting their names in the portal.
That wasn't fake. That was actually real.
Did they actually do that? I mean, they've played at Clemson like 4 or 5 years, both of them.
It was real. Rob Doster reported on it. They both put their name in the portal.
How in the hell? Like, at this point, I'm putting my name in the portal. Seriously. I'm filing. I'm going on there. I'm going to put my damn name in the portal.
Here is, I know the reason why they did that. Their eligibility had expired, right? Some of played 5 years. They entered the portal. It's a lot of it has to do with the House versus NCAA antitrust settlement decision that is coming up that could change some eligibility rules that would offer some work on the previous 4-year eligibility clock that's been in place. This hangs over a sport for coaches and players awaiting the ruling. And I'm not blaming Ian Shefflin. I'm not blaming Zeke Mayo. We're
going to talk about this a little bit more in the next one, in the next topic.
Jeff Goodman brought up a good point. He said this is one of the most ridiculous things that he said that he's ever seen. Like, You know, I don't know. It's an absolute mess.
Before we move on to the next topic, because this one's going to get a little heated, probably, to be honest. Let's talk about some portal news as the portal is closing tonight at midnight. So it was reported that Boogie Flan is putting his name in the portal. Now, he had previously entered the draft. More than likely, he's going to be going to Chicago, to the Combine, at least, I would think. Flan dealt with some injuries. He followed Coach Cal to Arkansas, but he only got to play about 18 or 20 games, something like that.
He had a wrist injury.
Yeah. So those injuries might be affecting his draft stock. And it's interesting because he had previously put his name in the draft, and then today he puts his name in the portal. Now, some of the news that's going on, the stuff that's going on in this portal is crazy. I mean, PJ Haggerty, the rumors are he's demanding $4 million and also demanding the team that he goes to that he has to play point guard. I mean, the stuff that's going on in this portal is insane. So there's just so much stuff that's going on. John, I expect to see a few more explosives before midnight. Do you not?
Well, Travis Brennan brought up an X post. I think it was maybe an hour or so ago, and he said that he expects another one to hit the portal before midnight, and it had a burger in it. And according to that, that's basically saying a McDonald's All-American.
Yeah.
That there's going to be one hit the portal. And a lot of people are going from one thing to the next, trying to figure out who it is. We don't know. It could be anybody. I know Kentucky fans posted some on it. There were some North Carolina fans posting some on it. Like, who do you actually think it could be?
I don't know, but I do expect to see a couple explosives, some fireworks towards the end of this portal at midnight tonight.
And you had Desmond Claude, the Xavier transfer, played for Xavier. He entered the portal just about an hour or so ago.
Yep.
He's another big name that's on the market. So there's still a lot of players out there. Like it's nuts. Here's where I want to kind of bring my rant into it.
Well, let me move on to the next.
Okay, go ahead. Well, I'll just bring it
on
up
to the next topic.
Because
I've got 2 or 3 topics here on all this.
Okay,
so,
well, I'll bring it into one of those.
Yeah, I've got this one and then another one a little later, to be honest. This one is about Kentucky. Yesterday, Kentucky basically the rumors are that they finished off their class yesterday with the signing of Florida guard, the one we were just talking about, Denzel Aberdeen. Now, do you think, first of all, before we get into anything else, do you think that's it? Do you think that we will see any more movement on the roster, or do you think that's going to be it?
I think you're going to wait on Oweh. He's going to go to the draft and kind of test out the waters and see where he can get better at. And I think you're probably going to wait another month. You probably won't hear nothing about Oweh until May, probably the middle of May, end of May. But
it'll be the end because the combine's not till like the 18th through the 21st or something.
Well, it'll probably June. It'll probably be June before we know.
It'll be before May 28th.
Yeah, well, it'll be before May 28th. Yes.
May 28th is the.
But other than Oweh, I doubt it. I think you got maybe got tongue tied. Developmental piece, maybe Hawthorne. and there had been smoke that he might go to Virginia Tech in the last couple of days. So I don't know if you want to really get a guy and develop him, or if he really wants to develop and come here and sit on the bench.
I mean, let me ask you this: when it comes to, because I've heard others talking about maybe a developmental piece. How much developing are you going to be sitting at number 14 or 15 on a roster? What are you really going to get out of that?
I mean, you can learn a lot of things through practice, through games. Like, look at Shadeur Sanders. He gained a lot of experience, which that's a sore spot for a lot of Kentucky fans because he's in the pros now and he's actually doing really good for the Trailblazers. So,
yeah, but
it's all about the
had
player.
A ton of talent before he was ever there.
And Hawthorne does too. Hawthorne's a really good player. I watched him play. He's really good. He's bouncy.
I don't
he can
think he has Shadeur Sharp talent.
No, he's not on that level. No, but he's a good player that could develop under Pope and be here for another year. But from what I'm being told is he's wanting to play right now. And with this roster and with the amount of players that they got on this roster, there's no way he's seeing the floor.
No, I mean, there's just no way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next part of this is expensively finishing off the roster. Now, there are various reports, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care money. I don't care. This is expensive. No matter how you flip it, no matter how you turn it, I don't really care. What is going on here is expensive. And John, I talked to you about this on the phone a little bit earlier. I think the money that is being spent here puts a target on their backs. It puts a target on the players' backs. It puts a target on Pope's back, because you can't go out here and spend 10, 12, 15, $20 million, whatever the number is. You can't go out here and spend that kind of money and fall short and get and be out at the Sweet 16 level or something. You can't do that.
To be fair to Kentucky, they're setting the market, okay? With the fans, recruits. If you're looking for a program that's a blue blood and they're putting money where, they want to win a championship, they want to get to a Final Four, it starts and ends with a blue blood like Kentucky, a blue blood like Duke, a blue blood like North Carolina.
Listen,
but here's the
your
problem.
Statement right there. I'm not talking about you, John. Hang on. Hold that for a minute. Your statement right there is a statement that would have been meant something 15, 20 years ago. These kids these kids have never even seen anything like that. That's irrelevant in today's world, if you ask me.
I mean, it was relevant then, but it ain't now.
All right, go ahead.
But like I was saying, it's not about just getting all this talent, Brad. Here's where me and you was talking about this. It's about sustainment, right? You can't stack all these top talent players together and then go out here and lose in the second round next year, because it's going to make you look like a clown.
Well, let me ask you this, talking about putting a target on your back. Not only that you can't go out here and lose, but it also puts a target on your back with everybody else. It puts a target on your back possibly within your own locker room, because you got a guy that's sitting over here that's making $250,000, and you got a guy in your own locker room that's making $3 million. I mean, it possibly puts a target on your back within your own locker room.
It does. It does. And Matt Norlander brought it up. He was the one that actually brought it up. He's with CBS. He said that there was 10 basketball programs that are projected to spend $10 million or more on NIL contracts in this transfer year. And Kentucky was one of those. BYU was one of those. I think who else was it, Brad? Was it North Carolina?
About 10 of them.
I think Duke
was about 10 of them.
And then Jeff Goodman brought up a point. He did not mince when he said this. I'm sure I'm not sure anyone is going to touch Kentucky's NIL payroll this season, not even BYU. That's what he said. I think it's aggressive.
Some of those numbers, high numbers that we're hearing came from Jeff Goodman.
Well, and Kentucky's outbid for some of these kids too, with some of these big time schools like Duke, North Carolina, and a financial.
Wait a second. I thought Kentucky was missing and not paying all these players. That's what people thought for 3 or 4 weeks. That's all we've heard. I'm just saying, don't believe everything you hear, because Kentucky's clearly paying players a good amount. Let's just put it that way.
All right, I want to say this.
We're going to return to this. We're going to return to a deeper subject. This was more about Kentucky, but we're going to return to a deeper subject.
Well, I want to bring that up about Kentucky real quick before we move on. You look at guys like Oway and Kobe Bryant, right? They're probably not coming there unless they have some serious NIL backing, right? They come to get exposure, right?
Yeah.
Most places they won't get that, but at Kentucky they're probably going to get that. And I think that's why a lot of kids want to come to Kentucky, is for the exposure and to be on the big stage. Now, don't be like Lamar Wilkerson and say, I'm going to be another guy. Like, we can't – Calipari said it, many years. We can't hide you here. Fans are there, the media, you're on a big stage. And I think –
Hello? I can't tell if I froze up or if he froze up. So if you can still hear me, let me know, because I can't tell who froze up.
I'm back.
Was it me that froze or you? I couldn't tell.
It might have been. I was just saying that Kentucky is a place of exposure, a place of, big time stage. Calipari said it many, many years. We can't hide you here. And a lot of players can't handle that. But you've seen it in the last couple of years with Pope. Well, it's year 2, that some of these kids ain't afraid of the big time status. Kobe Bryant last year, Lamont Butler. You got JQ coming in. You got Diabate coming in from Alabama. Like it's these kids want that exposure and to be on that level and be on the big stage. And I think Kentucky gives them that opportunity.
I mean, I agree with you. To an extent, I agree with you with certain things. I don't like where we're at. And I'm going to get into that a lot more. I don't like where we're at in college sports, not at all. And I'm going to move on because this is another really hot topic. This happened in football. So Nico leaves Tennessee over money, demanding $4 million. Tennessee says bye, Felicia, which I am so glad they did, to be quite honest with you. He goes out, everybody backs away from him because he's asking for way too much money, which is a good thing. I'm actually glad that it happened the way it did. He does go to UCLA, which is his home state, by the way. But he goes for quite a bit different he loses a lot of money to go out there. Now, the quarterback that UCLA signed in the winter portal transfers to Tennessee. So they basically just have a swap or a trade, right? Joey from App State. What's his last name?
Aguilar, I think. Something like that.
Aguilar. Yeah.
Aguilar, yeah. My thing about the whole Nico thing is what does it accomplish him, right? Brad, he's getting a pay cut, okay? You know, he's not getting paid what he thought he was going to get paid according to you know, what he wanted. And
this is the first time that it looks like that the universities in the Power Four conferences and stuff said, no, we're not doing no, we're not paying you this kind of money. And it's I actually love this because it will help set the market. You can't keep giving these dudes the money and expect it not to inflate. What happened in the football world a week ago will actually help set the market and settle the market.
Well, and the thing too, Brad, is if you got to consider where he's going now, like he's living in California, like the cost of living out there compared to living in Tennessee is 3 times as much.
Not to mention the state taxes compared to Tennessee. Tennessee has no state tax.
It's a complete different ballgame when you go from California to Tennessee. And I just don't think, Brad, that it's a great move. I just think I think both teams lost, really.
All I can tell you is, John, I am really happy that the market said no. For the first time, the market said no. And that's exactly what you have to do if you want to set the market. And in the land of football, it actually done something right. That's all I'm going to say when it comes to it.
I just don't agree with the move. I think it was bad on both parties, especially Tennessee. I felt like that they
was. Let's
caused
be
a lot
honest
of this.
with you. His dad is the one that caused all this.
Well, and then you got the whole I'm not going to play. I'm going to sit out a bowl game or a college football playoff. Like, we are enabling these kids to do these things.
And that's why the market had to say no.
And this is just not in college football. This is in college basketball. You look, like you said, at the PJ Haggerty thing. We got kids demanding things. Demanding
and if
play.
The market doesn't say no when somebody comes along and gives them a handout, guess what's going to happen? More are going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Not only are more going to do it, they're going to ask for more.
It's a road that is going down a slippery slope. And me and you have talked about it more than we really want to talk about it this whole month of April. And you know,
I'm just glad that the market said no. I'm just being honest with you. They done exactly what they should have done. I'm not upset with UCLA because they got this kid at a discount.
They do.
So I'm not upset at UCLA. I'm actually, for the first time in my life, maybe actually happy that Tennessee done something right, because Tennessee is actually one of the schools that messed all this up for us.
Well, and then they had another.
And I had a rant on that last week. Go check it out.
Yeah, there was another article somebody had wrote that said that it wasn't the money; it was because the offense of the way Tennessee ran their offense. Now, do you believe all that?
Oh, Lord have mercy. That was after the fact and all that stuff. That was ridiculous. That's not even worth talking about. You got Deshaun Foster with no offense, or you've got Tennessee
Josh Heupel
and Josh Heupel with his offense. I
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
know. Gee, let's see.
who are you going to pick? Who you going to pick out of that? Like, really?
I mean, is it really that hard to figure out? Let's be honest, guys.
Well, you got to consider Foster is
I mean,
Foster's in his
come
second
on.
year. Like, and they was 5-7 a year ago. Like, Nico's kind of going in.
And was like 117 or something in offense last year.
Well, I mean, and Nico's kind of going into an unfamiliar territory here. Like, you're basically going into unknown. Basically, you don't know you don't know the season you're going to have. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, but Tennessee, on the other hand, is probably thinking, well, you know what? We got maybe.
My mama always told me to be careful what you ask for. My mama always told me to be careful what you ask for. Sometimes you get it.
You get back, it backfires on you.
Just say it. Just say it. All right, let's move on and talk about college football portal news.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kentucky, let's start with there. Kentucky's picked up a running back. They picked up Hardley Gilmore, getting him back from Nebraska.
I'm going to tell you something I like.
McGowan, is that his name?
McGowan, yeah. I'm going to tell you what I love about this whole Seth McGowan deal. I really like how Stoops approached this. A lot of people don't know he was out of football for 2 years, right? He had some legal issues with he got in trouble at Oklahoma and they dismissed him from the team.
He had gotten in trouble.
Yeah, and then he went to Butler Community College, where he played for a year, and then he went to New Mexico State and played this last season. And I really like the fact that Stoops has given him another opportunity to showcase his talents in the SEC, because a lot of schools would not give this kid this opportunity. There's a lot of places that would say, you know what,
He was a four-star kid out of high school and went to Oklahoma.
And he was good at times. You know, and he had a great year last year for New Mexico State. So I'm really happy that Stoops pulled the plug on this kid and said, you know what, we're going to let you showcase your talents. We're going to use you in certain situations. Like I expect them to use him probably in passing situations, a lot of third down situations. I expect him to be used quite a bit usage-wise, because you just don't go out into the portal and get a guy like this and don't put him out there. I think he's going to have a role on this team. I think Kentucky's got a really good core of running backs. Jason Patterson's really good. Dante Dowdell from Nebraska, the transfer from there. And people forget about the other running back, Jamarian Wilcox. Wilcox might be your best back.
He might be. He's the one that's got the breakaway speed. He's got the breakaway speed.
Now, Jason Patterson, if I had to say today, if the running back room was an end all be all right now, I think Jason Patterson would be your running back, because I just think he's got some intangibles that can open up the game for the Wildcats. And you know,
I mean, it's really hard. Most of the time, running backs you're going to use at least 2 or 3.
You are,
and
that's why adding another one was huge, because, man, you talked about this.
Yeah.
The running back room in the SEC is crucial, because if you got one guy go down, then you got to have another one step up. If that guy goes down, you got to have at least another one that can go in there and make plays. Like Kentucky had a lot of injuries. Kentucky had a lot of injuries last year. That's what killed their chances at a lot of times. They just had too many.
So, is there any other big names in the portal that you can think of? Because I'll be honest with you, the football portal. The football portal's kind of been, the spring one here has kind of been a little lackluster, really.
Yeah, it's been kind of a dud.
There's not been too many big names.
Now you got guys like Jaden Rashada. I think he visited North Carolina today, which I don't really understand that move, because North Carolina already has their quarterback.
They just signed a guy.
Doesn't really understand that unless he's coming in to kind of compete for the job. But Not a lot of really big movers out there. Now you had the Oklahoma kid, the defensive I think it was a defensive tackle. I'm not sure if Kentucky's getting involved with him, but that was another one that was a big one out of the spring portal. But there's not been a really big group of guys. Like,
well, there's still a week to go. So the
well, and the college basketball portal has probably outdone everything this whole year. It's reached a level of insanity, to be honest.
Speaking of college basketball portal, this is going to be a very good topic, I think, John. So over the last, say, 3-4 years, there has been an average of 2,000 to 3,000 kids in the portal every single year. So let's just call it 9,000 to 10,000 kids in the portal over the last 4 years. Out of those 9,000 kids, how many have actually greatly enhanced their career after transferring? Because I want people to realize most of these kids, after signing for money and going somewhere else, they're actually playing worse than they played before.
I think I could name you maybe 2 or 3. Dalton Connect. But
Dalton Connect played it at itty bitty school.
He did. Terrence Shanning Jr. would be one. Coming from Texas Tech to Illinois would be one. That's a good question, Brad. I kind of posed that question on my ex last night, and I got some hits.
Well, I'm going to go back to about 4 years ago. In my opinion, over the last 4 years, one of the absolute best transfers has been Oscar Shibwe.
He was, but that was
career.
But that was before the actual portal. Like,
it was. He was when he transferred. It was before. Now the portal came in play, I think, maybe his last year. But when he transferred, the portal wasn't even in play. But he's one of the few over the last 4 years that actually improved his career. I'll give you another name. Antonio Reeves.
Reeves would be one. Matt McClung.
From a small school. From a small school, kind of like Dalton Connect. And then came and made a career. Antonio Reeves in the NBA.
Tyler Kolek would be one. I think he's doing some good things down there. Matt McClung would be one.
Man, how many of these kids, John? How many of these kids are worse off? Like I could sit here and name hundreds of
them. Austin Reeves would be one from Oklahoma. I think he's done a really good job with the Lakers. I think he's come in and kind of set that standard with him. I think he would be one.
But
this
Austin
year,
Reeves was before. Wasn't he before Shibwe?
I can't remember. He might have been.
He's been out for a while.
Now this year, maybe Janai Broome, if he gets drafted, because you got to think about it. Before Janai Broome got to Auburn, now he was good at Morehead State, but he was not the Janai Broome that we know today.
Right. But there's a few of them. Walter Clayton Jr. from Florida.
Walter Clayton Jr.
from Florida.
What about Cam Spencer and Tristan Newton from UConn? Don't they have some pop in the NBA a little bit?
Yeah.
I mean,
last year's team, yeah. Cam Spencer did, yeah.
Somebody mentioned one last night that it kind of brought me up was Tumani Camara. Used to play at Georgia. He went to Dayton for I think it was a couple years.
Yeah.
I think he went to Dayton for a couple years, and he's having a decent stretch. But there, like
I'm
you
gonna
said,
throw
there's
one out. Now, there's not too many that actually enhanced their career. I'm not talking about went to a place and done okay and like done something in college, but didn't really prove anything beyond that. I'm talking about a kid that actually enhanced their career after transfers.
Oscar Sheboy would probably be your best bet.
I mean, you got so many. Hunter Dickinson, A.J. Storr. I mean, I can go on and on about Kansas kids, it seems like, to be quite honest with you.
I mean, Hunter Dickinson.
Even the Mayo kid. I mean, every single one of them, their careers were way better before they transferred.
To be fair, Mayo actually was the best piece of what Kansas had last year. He was their best player.
Yeah, but if he did go down.
Well, what about DJ Wagner? He's not really done much. I mean, now he had a few games.
Bradshaw. Look at.
Like,
I mean,
there's so many out there. Like when I was watching Hunter Dickinson at Michigan, he was dominating people. He was a legit. Then Hunter Dickinson was a legit top 10, 15, 20 pick.
And I thought for sure that he was going to be a strong NBA player. Right now, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be a darn clerk behind a desk somewhere.
He'll be lucky to even sniff the NBA, to be honest.
I mean,
well, and let's kind of go on that, Brad. If you had to look at it from another perspective, who's some of the transfer busts that we've seen?
Well, we'll do another topic and talk about some of those at another time because I got a bunch of topics here that we're going to run through. But this is just one. I wanted to point it out because I really don't think there are that many kids who have put their name out of 9,000 in the last 3 years or 4 years.
I'll name you one. Sky Clark. He was supposed to be the next big thing, point guard. And he went to Kentucky, decommitted, went to Illinois. I'm not even sure. I think he's at Louisville now. Is he at Louisville now? He had the talent, but he just never was – he never could put it together. You had – what about Caleb Love? I mean, he had a couple big games out of Arizona, but what did he really do beyond North Carolina?
He was better. He was better before he went out there.
He was, I thought. I could name you another one that I thought was going to be was Khalil Ware, the one that went from Oregon to Indiana. Which, to be fair, I think he's enhanced his career. He's doing some good things in the league. But like you said, I just think that, there's so many guys that have destroyed their career.
We'll talk about transfer bust another night and bring
I just
up
think, like you were saying with your topic, like your topic, though, I just think there's very few in the realm of who's actually really helped their career because a lot of these kids have went to 5 or 6 different schools.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got. I think there was one kid. It was early in the portal season. Had been to 8 different schools in a matter of 3 years.
Oh, I know.
That's
insane.
why this
I don't know how
portal
that happens. How can you even do that in basketball?
I have no.
You can only transfer once a year. How the hell do you do that? The portal's only open once a year. Unless the schools, each school you go to lost a coach or something, how the hell do you even do that?
I think that was I think it was a Miami. I think it was when Larinaga left. I think it was one of the Miami kids, if I'm not mistaken.
If each school you went to lost a coach, I guess it opens up and you can transfer again. But still,
I don't know, man.
It's
It's
insane.
still
all
a
right,
mess.
we're going to move on to this topic. All right, now I got to talk about.
I
this
know
for
you're
just a
getting
few
ready.
minutes,
You're getting ready
all right?
you're getting ready to dig into a big pot of.
This is my
Horse
other
shit,
NIL topic here, man. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now, what is going on in college sports right now is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You cannot have the kinds of increases. Just last year, Pope put together a roster of an entire roster. Okay, didn't have anybody coming in except for Travis Perry. Didn't have no freshmen, had no returners, had to put together an entire roster. And he put it together for less than half of what they're doing this year. You keep doing that kind of movement in the NIL world and what's going on. Basketball is out of control. It's out of control. John, if you would have told me 3 years ago that Alabama football was going to put together an 80-man roster and they were going to spend $20 million, I would have said you're crazy. Imagine now basketball is spending that much and putting together a 12 or 13-man roster.
Brad,
It's insane.
This ain't NIL.
I've got it on there. It's pay for
this
play.
This is pay for play. And like I even told you, I told you a week ago that I had spoke to somebody in media. I'm not going to reveal my source because it's never good to reveal your source, but they had talked about a certain player. I think he was a highly regarded transfer. And he went in to an office to sit with the coach. And the coach told him, he sat down and he asked him, he said, how much am I going to get paid? And the coach looked at him and said, get the hell out of my office.
Yeah, but here's the deal, John. That's one coach. When you knock on the next door and they just open and hand you a bag, what I see out of all of this, the only good thing that's happened in the last week in NIL is the Nico crap.
Yeah.
Because that's what sets the market. You have to tell these kids no. John, I'm going to bring up a guy that's going to be on Kentucky's roster. And I may catch some heat over this one, okay?
It's you, not me. It's you.
Jalen Lowe is going to be on Kentucky's roster. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. Kentucky hugely overpaid for this guy. It's not even close. Hugely. I mean, it's not even close. The market was nowhere near. There's no way this dude was going to get that kind of money. He played on a Pittsburgh team in an absolute atrocious ACC and finished 9th or 10th in the damn conference. The ACC was horrendous. It was the worst year in the ACC's history. And he couldn't even finish in the top 5 on a team. And he's the point guard, the leader of this team. He had some decent numbers, but that's what happens when you're on a terrible team. And you ain't got nobody around you, and you're the point guard. You got the ball in your hand.
Well, to be fair, he struggled with ball making. Like he tried to take over games, and he was too forceful with the basketball.
Has very bad field goal percentage.
And you know, this is not a down low. I think Lowe is a good player, but really, is he worth that much? Is he going to be, that one guy that you're going to get to take over a game? Like, I look at it from Pope's offense standards.
Jaden Quaintance, Chris, if you want to be honest with you, the number that I'm hearing is way higher than that. And you make a very good point here. I mean, this kid is coming off of an ACL surgery. And we're paying this dude this much. Listen, I love the kid. I think he has top 5 potential next year. But you also have to take into account and his consideration his injury. And I don't think we did that.
Hallie Collins' mom just brought up a good point.
I'm sure you do. You are a parent of a kid that's getting scholarship offers right now. So
yeah, she's going to
the
University of Pikeville. So
I'm sure you do know some ins and outs of what's going on.
And I'm going to say this while she's on here. Hallie
and the girls, and I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't brought up what's going on. We're going to talk about the girls' portal at the end. I haven't brought up the girls' stuff. The girls are they're not getting numbers like what we've been talking about here with the guys. I just want to say,
I want to say this real quick while she was on here. Hallie is one of the most respectful kids in the state of Kentucky. And I mean that with all that's in me, Tanya. Like, the kid is a really good kid. She plays hard. She rebounds. She does all the things you want a college player to go to. And she's going to the University of Pikeville. She don't care about the scenes, the big time. She just wants to play. And I noticed that with kids nowadays. You got to say you get a kid, Brad, from Howard that don't play a lot, okay? And he has the chance to really get a big-time offer to a school, right? And the fact of the matter is he's kind of deciding what he wants to do and all this, and he gets to this school, and he don't think Howard's good enough. Or he don't think Prairie View's good enough, or it's a D1 scholarship. That's what some of these kids, now I'm not saying all kids are like that, but I've noticed it in some of the coaches that I follow. They always say that when kids get approached by these D2 people, they said that's not real basketball. That's not real Division I. It's college basketball. Union Commonwealth is a college basketball.
I mean,
all these schools.
What you're talking about is a completely different topic. I mean, I agree.
I know.
With you.
I'm just saying in general, like some of these schools.
I mean, listen, NAIA is actual basketball. I mean, if you can get a kid a scholarship at an NAIA school, you've accomplished something as a parent. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, Josh, I personally don't think that those numbers should not be public. It puts a target on your back, puts a target on their back. It puts a target on the team's back. It puts a target on Mark Pope's back. I don't think any of that crap should be public.
Here's where I think it screws everything up. Say those numbers are right, Brad. Say that we paid $2 million for Jalen Lowe. Say we paid $3.5 million, and it's up to $20 million, right? Say that's right. Well, by golly, you better get to the Final Four is all I can tell you.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's why I said there's a target on your back. You can't go out and do this. There's just no way. I don't care if you're in your first year, second year, you cannot go out and pay this kind of money and not get results.
Look at Kansas last year. Look at Kansas. You can't be another Kansas of next year.
You cannot pay this kind of money and not get the results.
Joshua, yes. He said, if this continues and gets worse, will college sports be destroyed? Yes, it won't be even the same anymore.
I
Brad.
actually think that we are on the path now. I don't think will it. I think the path is already set. It's there.
Tanya, that was being done even now. That was being done back in the early 90s. She said players are paid under the table. They get refunds from money allowed from their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That was happening in the early 90s.
Well,
with some of these big
honest,
schools.
that was happening in the 70s. I mean,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff isn't new. No, I mean that's been around for
but it was happening.
years.
Like even the big schools like Michigan, Kentucky, you knew that there was money.
Yeah, but that's petty shit compared to 20 million.
Yeah, I mean now, yeah, compared to what the generation
that's not
is
even
now.
in the ballpark. I mean, that's petty crap compared to 20 million.
Well, I mean, compared
and
to
then,
what's going
John,
on.
you got to think about on top of all this, they're fixing to throw in revenue shares and everything else, or that's what they're trying to do. So you're telling me we're going to pay $20 million in NIL money, and then we're going to have to revenue share on top of that? How do you think these schools and these universities are going to keep up with that?
It's going to be difficult.
It's not going to happen. The path is on. We're already on that path.
Let me tell you a situation that really bothers me. Okay, let's go back. What, a week ago? Let's look at the Lamar Wilkerson deal. Right, Brad is one of the most trusted guys that I know, and he told me this before it even happened.
10 days before it happened.
10 days before it even happened. So before Lamar Wilkerson, Kentucky got involved with Lamar, he had been predicted to go to Indiana, right? There was rumors spreading. There was a lot of crystal balls saying that, oh, he's going to Indiana. Well, Mark Pope got involved, unfortunately, with that situation, which I think Pope was doing the right thing. I think he was wanting this kid. I truly do think he was wanting him. But I think from the outsider's perspective that Lamar Wilkerson was trying to drive the price up for Indiana to see what Kentucky would do. And the whole time, Brad said he's going to Indiana. I don't know why these Kentucky fans are going bananas, because he's going to Indiana when it's all said and done. And sure enough,
I said it the entire time.
What was it? 5 o'clock? It was late afternoon. It was like 5:30 something. He picks Indiana, and then Kentucky fans are like, oh, I thought he was coming here. Well, you know what? He ain't coming here because he was trying.
Then you got the trolls coming out saying we missed. That kid was going there the entire time.
He was just driving the price up.
That's
what these kids are doing.
Wanted to be the guy. And I knew that.
I'm not saying all these kids are doing this, but they're getting in these bidding wars, Brad, with other teams.
Kid, he didn't want to come and be another guy on the team. He wanted to be the guy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's sort of in that realm, though, that we're having these bidding wars with these kids, and one team is raising the price, and then the other team lowers the price. Well, when one team ups the price, the other team ups the price. Like, where are we at in college athletics?
That's what happened with Nate Ament. And went to Tennessee.
Like, what are we doing? Like, I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel with what you're saying, with the whole, college sports is not going to look the same in 5 years. If they don't get somebody with a backbone that can stand up to all this mess, college sports
20 million is not going to touch it. 5 years from now, you'll have to be spending $100 million
just to keep a roster.
To get a roster. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, there is a ton of schools across this state of Kentucky that can't do that. Not just the country, just this state.
We're talking high schools too.
There will not be basketball like we know it.
I'm not going to say any names.
if this does not get under control. And I'm talking quickly.
I'm not going to say any names, but there was a high school coach talked to me that said that he had a player on his team. I think he was a leading scorer. I think he was a junior, maybe. He transferred somewhere else up towards Louisville or something. And he got paid, Brad, almost $250K.
Yeah.
And the school that was keeping him could not afford him. This is what it's going to be in high school, Kentucky high, not just Kentucky high school. We're talking all over Alabama, Georgia, California. If you're not going to be able to pay these kids, they're going to transfer out and they're going to find other schools. And a lot of these little schools, like I always bring up my school, Knox Central. It's a wonderful school. I love my school. I played football there. You know, I love the way the program is ran. But some of these schools like ours and these others in the state of Kentucky, they're not going to be able to do this. They're not going to be able to pay these
not
kids.
Not just high schools.
And get them to come to –
I mean, seriously, John, Western Kentucky, they're not going to be able to pay $20 million, $40 million, $80 million. They can't do that.
Where are you going to get the money from?
They can't do that.
I hear people all the time say, well, we got the Crafts and we got all these people. Well, that money.
Congratulations. You're a Kentucky fan, and you think just because your team and your school has money that it's not going to destroy college basketball. I think you're a moron. Just being honest.
Chris Vaughn said, not going to name any names, but a kid transferred from my home school to a rival school because they bought him a car and his parents a house for him to play up the road from us. That's happening all over, Chris. That's just not in Kentucky. Like, that's happening with college athletics, baseball, soccer. Like, it's going to trickle down to where college sports is just going to be a complete – you're not even going to recognize it. And you look at the NBA now, Brad.
Well,
the
Pope
NBA
said he was going to be here about the name on the front of the jersey, but then he's going out and paying all these kids all this money. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to call Pope out on it. When you're paying kids $3 million to be here, that's not the front of the jersey.
But Brad, let me tell you this. That's not – you can't blame a lot of that on Pope. You can some, but these kids want –
when you preach it for a year that it's the front of the jersey, sometimes you have to live that too.
Yeah, but who's going to come here with that money?
You got to find some.
Who's going to
I'm
play?
going to tell you right now, I think you should be paying the 12th or 13th guy that you sign on the roster $2 million? It's the 12th or 13th guy on the roster, and we're paying this dude $2 million? John, the 12th guy that we sign on the roster, the 13th guy, should be lucky to get $100,000. There's no way humanly possible that the 12th or 13th guy we should be going after and bringing them in and paying them $2 million. Yeah, I'm sorry. It should not happen. There's no way.
I just think money now is the root of all evil. That's the old saying goes, but it's money and greed.
I'm going to move on because I've got several topics. I always try to. Talk about spitting fire. I try to. Well, I've tried to click that 3 times. There it is.
There it is. Josh, just look it up on the internet. You'll
Josh, you always talk about the NIL side of this. This is not NIL. This is pay for play.
This is not NIL, I can tell you.
NIL was supposed to be about signing signatures and autographs
doing
doing events for
fundraisers
like and marketing and things for businesses,
having your own T-shirts and stuff like that,
selling T-shirts, and that's NIL. That's name, image and likeness. What's going on is not NIL. All right, John, we're going to move on. The NFL draft is Thursday through Saturday.
Yep.
First round starts Thursday evening.
Yep, sure.
There's 16 players that was invited as attendees. Maxwell Hairston was one of the 16 invited.
Yep, he was.
Jalen Milroe from Alabama was invited. Now, I got to ask you, do you think they're fairly certain they're going to be first rounders? I mean, most time you don't invite kids that you think's going to sit there till halfway through day two.
I think there's a really good chance Maxwell is picked in the first round. Maybe not 32. He might be right on the edge of the second round. Because I know there's some guys in front of him like Malachi Starks, Trey Amos, the cornerback from Ole Miss. I think there was another one. I can't think of his name. Emma Warry.
Well, I think it's possible that he slides in late, Hairston.
I think
late in the first round.
He kind of slides in there late, but and then there had been talk. Me and you talked about this right out of the get that Tennessee's probably going to take Cam Ward the first pick. There's a lot of growing
news here that is going to get to, but yeah.
And then from what I was reading today, that the Giants and the Browns are looking to trade up, and the Cowboys are trying to trade.
No, the Browns and the Giants are shopping the second and third pick and trying to trade down. That was the rumors that come out today. Was they have the second and third pick. And the rumors that come out today is that they are shopping their pick, trying to trade down.
Well, Jerry Jones.
Because they don't like the players that's available at the second and third pick.
Well, Jerry Jones, they had mentioned in a report today that Jerry Jones there's going to be substantial trading with the Cowboys this week. So who knows what that's going to be like. Like, as a Cowboys fan myself, I don't like that.
Is that real, Chris?
Yep, sounds like it. I feared it was coming.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I've been saying for 2 weeks that we are over-recruiting. Same thing happened to Katie and Lewis.
Wouldn't be shocked.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. I don't like what's going on. I've been saying it for a long time here this past month. I will be so glad when this is over. I don't like it. You've been talking about preaching Kentucky kids in the front of the jersey. I do not like what's going on. I don't like it.
Let me ask you, Brad. Let me ask you this real quick while we're on the NFL, because our time is getting short here. But NFL-wise, who's your most underrated pick in this? Like, who's your guy that you would like look at as a player that is one of those that you could just see like, oh wow, he just sticks out to me. You know what I mean?
You want to know who I think will be a Hall of Famer? I can tell you right now who I think will make the Hall of Fame out of this draft.
Who's that?
Ashton Genty.
That's a good one.
I think it's clear. I think there are two guys in this draft that are clear-cut Hall of Famers.
I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you one I think could be an All-Pro. It is Malachi Starks from Georgia. I think he's that good.
Yeah.
You know,
could be.
him and Shamar. him and Shamar Stewart, I think, are right in that group. The A&M guy, the edge rusher. I think that's a piece in the secondary that you add Malachi Starks to a really good secondary. I think it could be a really good team, really good defense. And they got him going 27th with the Baltimore Ravens. Add him with Kyle Hamilton. That's a really good defense, Brad.
All right, real quick, a subject that I seen today that I was kind of surprised. So Yahoo Sports put out their last mock draft today. Shadeur Sanders was not in the first round.
Well, he going into the pre-draft process, there was a lot of folks that said that he could be the first overall pick. And we're just what? What's today? Tuesday?
We're 2 days.
We're 2 days away, and his stock is down. Like, there's a really –
Is there a real legit chance that he slides to the second round?
Possible.
I was shocked. I looked over the list of picks.
Well,
like
and a lot of people
times.
thought – there was many that thought he would go to the Browns at the second or the third pick.
Or the
Giants.
or the Giants.
But now with the Giants getting Russell Wilson, I'm guessing that probably takes that out of the equation because Shadeur's probably wanting to play like right away. And a lot of Shadeur's issues, I was reading
hoping they pick a receiver. McMillan would be great if he's
I was
there.
reading today,
We'll see.
Albert Breer, he's an NFL guy, you know who Al is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about Shadeur where he lacks a lot of high-end physical tools. Like, he's really accurate.
Yeah, but John, I'm going to be honest with you.
He lacks arm strength a little
If
bit.
he slides all the way to the second round, Lord have mercy. It's going to be – I don't even know if I want to turn the TV on. I don't think I'm going to hit X or I don't think I'm going to hit Facebook for like a week because it's going to be all over the place.
His dad will be running the shop.
Oh, my God. I can't even imagine. I actually hope that in reality, I think he's a first-round pick. I would be shocked if he's not a first-round pick. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, if he doesn't, Lord, we won't never hear the end of it.
Well, you look down the draft mock, Brad.
Dion will be talking about this in 2050. We won't never hear the end of it.
Oh, here's what's getting me. Here's what's getting me about his first round stuff. I know. Here's what's getting me about his first round stuff is there's not a lot of beyond the first 12 picks. After that, there's not a lot of mock drafts that are taking quarterbacks.
Yeah, there's not. That's the problem. There's only about 3 or 4 teams that's even considering quarterbacks.
And that's where his first round grade could slide out. And like you said, if it happens, Teddy bar the door is all I can tell you.
Lord, I'm telling y'all now, it won't be pretty. I will be so tired of hearing that. Lord have mercy. That's all I can tell you.
But I'm excited,
right,
Brad. And by the way, real quick, while we go on, I got an article coming out about the NFL draft. It'll probably be tomorrow.
I had a first-round mock draft come out today in Stadium. Go check it out.
I was talking about just the overall, the unknown stars, guys that have been drafted. I talked a little bit about Tom Brady being picked in 2000 to the 199th overall and how he took a whole day's worth of not being picked, and then he all of a sudden gets picked, and then like he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He wins all those championships. He gets 5. He's still, I think, the only quarterback, Brad, that has 5 MVP Super Bowl MVPs. That's impressive for a guy that was not
I don't
even
even know if there's another quarterback that's played in 5.
I want to ask you this question before we get off that. Had they not picked Tom Brady, New England, right? Okay. And he had went somewhere up high in the first round, somewhere else, would New England be where they are today?
Well, yeah, Drew Brees would have kept it going.
I mean, it's a what-if factor, I think. A lot of people ask that question still today. Would New England be where they are today without Tom Brady?
Poor Drew Brees just got left behind.
He did. And he ended up carving out a really good career, by the way.
All right.
From the Chargers.
NCAA is in the process. If the settlement goes through, they are ready to change 153 rules to allow direct payments from schools. Just want to throw that out there.
Yep. So here's the girl talk. Is this the girl talk? The last of it?
Real quick. So the women's college basketball way too early top 25 come out today. Charlie Cream, who is one of the best in the business, by the way, from ESPN that does women's college basketball. And he had South Carolina first, UConn second. The thing that caught my eye is Kentucky basketball. The women's team was not in his top 25, way too early top 25. The stuff that's going on in the portal, which I'm fixing to reach and get to right now, I think is a big reason for that. But, John, real quick, portal news. Man, there's been so many, like, All-Americans and stuff in the portal. I mean, it's been crazy on the women's side.
Well, and there's a lot of
talent that's been in the portal.
Well, and there's a lot of swirling, wouldn't say rumors, but I've heard some talks that Malaysia Fulwiley might be ending up at LSU. That's the new hot talk right now. You got Ole Miss that's picked up some really good talent. Coach Yo.
Ole Miss has killed it. Coach Yo, Lord have mercy, slow down a little bit. You've been killing it, Coach Yo. I'm telling you, Coach Yo, you've been absolutely slaying the portal.
I kind of want to bring that back to Kentucky here. And listen, Brad, I love Coach Brooks. I think he's a great question.
Coach. Has Kenny Brooks been active enough in the portal?
I don't think he has. I'll just be honest with you. He's only contacted what, Brad? 6 girls?
Something like that, yes.
Pope, I know the contact 6 in one day. I mean,
probably
Zoom
12.
Calls, 12 in one day.
Probably.
And here's the thing, and you know, I know you cover Kentucky women, and we try to be as neutral as I'll get out. And I love Coach Brooks. I think he's doing a great job. I think he's trying to build this program into where he wants to go. And yeah, Lauren, we mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. We had that.
We talked about it.
We talked about that. I think some of that might have a lot of friction with some of what's going on. I don't know, maybe a little bit. But other than that, I want to say this. I don't think Gilvin, what's the girl's name from West you follow it more. Gilvin?
Josie Gilvin.
Josie, yeah. Her and what's the other girl from Georgia Tech? Is it Tony?
Tony Morgan's a good one.
Tony Morgan's good, yeah. Asia Boone is good too. More like a bench piece. But how are you going to replace what Georgia Amore and Deja Lawrence did last year?
It's a very good question.
And you know, I think Tony Morgan is a good player. I don't think she's the scorer like Georgia is. I don't think she's anywhere.
As far as scoring, she's probably going to be similar to what Deja did. Around 13 points a game, probably.
But why haven't you went out and got one of the top girls in the portal? Like, all you need is one.
With the roster they have coming back, They really needed one of these star players. There's so many of them that's been. I mean, you had Latson, you had Olivia Miles. I'm talking about all American. Latson was the leading scorer in the country, and she was in the portal.
Why not go after Olivia Miles from Notre Dame?
Olivia Miles was projected to be the second pick in the WNBA draft. And not only did she come back to college, she put her name in the portal.
Went to TCU.
I mean, the type of kids that was in the women's portal was insane. And here's the deal. I don't feel like he was active enough to get that one big piece. Because I think that's what we're missing here is the one big piece.
Yeah, because you basically bring back
now, I will say this, though.
You bring back Strack.
I will say this, though. This NIL stuff is not anywhere near on the same level for Kentucky women's as far as what Pope has done. From what I am hearing, okay, there's not Kentucky women just don't have that kind of money. They don't have that kind of money to go out and sign. So Latson, early on, I was hearing that she got between 1 and 1.2 million. She was the number one girl in the portal.
In that case, you're probably going to go to a team like LSU, South Carolina, which she ended up.
Well, she went to South Carolina. Yeah.
So.
But my point here is this. I think that some of these top names, he might have been handicapped by the NIL prices.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I think there's some money issues there, and the Kentucky women probably don't get as much like the men do.
It's 11:59, Josh. I just don't know if that's 11:59 Eastern. It probably is.
And I think they're just like you said, they're handicapped to what they can do and what they can't do. And
I think that's part of what's going on here. So I did read up a little bit more on Kenny this evening, and he did say he is planning on going after one to two more pieces. One will definitely be a big girl.
He needs a big.
One will definitely be a big. He mentioned that himself in an article today that I a little research that I was doing. That's going to be the main piece. So he's got 11 kids on the team. He's probably going to only have 12 or 13. He's probably going to make some Cassidy Rowe fans mad, but he's probably only going to carry 12 or 13 kids scholarship wise.
But here's the issue that you have, Brad. You know, last year you said during I think it was the preseason, me and you had talked about Kentucky and, you know, the men and the women. You said the women would be better than the men. Okay. Well, looking at what you got now, I think you got to consider that the men probably going to be better than the women this year.
Well, I mean, you might be right. It's not completely over yet, so we'll see.
I think you got to get some. I think you got.
I made that call in November when the season was about to start.
Yeah.
But here's my deal. Okay, so I cover the women. I went to a lot of games this year. I love covering the women's team and the women's sport and being a part of that. Here's my deal this year. Looking at this team, I was talking about is Kenny Brooks been active enough in the portal? My issue with this team this past year, Georgia Amore was spectacular. She was special. I love the starting five. The problem this team had was production from the bench. That was the problem. Okay.
They couldn't.
Now, it wasn't – they had some players that could come in, but none of them could fill it up. None of them could really score. You had 1.8, you had 2.3 points a game, and you had 4. And there was just a lot going on and very, very, very little production, okay, from the bench. Now, fast forward to what he has for this year. He picked up Asia Boone. He picked up Josie Gilvin, okay? He got Tony Morgan from Georgia Tech, who is number 12 in the portal rankings, by the way. So he did get a top 12 player out of the portal, Tony Morgan. She's actually the third highest ranked point guard in the portal, and he got her. So he did get a top piece in Tony Morgan. She'll be the starter. You got two players coming back that was injured. You got a senior in Jordan Obi, and you've also got a redshirt sophomore now, and Dominika Porova, who is a star in the making, okay? She had a really good freshman year at Oregon State.
Yeah.
So you got those two pieces. You got Josie Gilvin. You've got Asia Boone. You've got Kaylin Carroll, who I just wrote an article about, coming in as a freshman, 6'3", can shoot, can rebound, can defend. I saw her in the McDonald's All-American game. She's blocking shots. She's defending. She is going to be a really good player. She's a top 15, top 18 player in the country and is a McDonald's All-American and Jordan Brand Classic player. Okay? Now, when you put all that together, you also have Lexi Blue. When you put all that together, you have a much better bench potentially on this team, production-wise, than what you had last year. Last year, you put players in and you just didn't get any production from them. I'm hoping this year we'll see a difference in that.
I will say this about this Travis Perry stuff going around. It's about to be a war zone on Facebook.
Look, I already said it. I don't like it. I don't like what's going on. I don't like the over-recruiting. He's talked about building a culture. He's talked about taking care of the Kentucky kids. He's talked about – I don't like it. I don't like what's going on. I don't think that this stuff should be happening. I don't think we should be paying $2 million for the 12th or 13th guy on the roster. There is so much going on that I do not like. I just don't like it. Not at all.
Great show tonight, Brad.
It was. It's been a good show. This has been the Big Fuss Show here at College Sportscast and Stadium Rant. And we appreciate Stadium Rant and the Real Fresh channel and WSBN TV.
If you have not noticed, those two good-looking cats back in the back. I don't know if everybody noticed that right out of the gate because it was something that was kind of.
Before we go off, go to Bet. Use that link, the Real Fresh Bet Us link. You can get 3 deposits, 125% back on your first 3 deposits if you use Bet Us and use that link. It's also, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, the link is at the bottom of the description.
I think
so
mine
you can find that.
I think mine looks better than yours. I do.
You and your backwards hat.
Oh, goodness gracious, Brad.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. We will see you next week.
Yep. Have a good one.
Can I please have your attention?
What's all the commotion around here?
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.